Well, the first thing that I've learned is, you know, He wants to bless us all the time. I mean, that's one of His number one things He wants to do. And so we need to be aware of that. And every situation that we face, you can find a blessing in that, just like the pandemic, you know. I mean, it threw everybody off. But when I reflect back on what's going on, I can see where God has blessed me and my family in that situation. So even if you're, you know, at work or school or whatever you're dealing with, when things happen, look for the blessing in it. That's one thing God has showed me. You know, there is a blessing in everything. You know, in His Word, He says He's working everything for our good. Well, you need to look for that. You need to look for that, because whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're going through, there's a blessing there, and you have to look for it. If you're not looking for it, if you're focused on what's going on, you'll probably miss it. So that's one thing God has been sharing with me about blessing. And then the other thing is, if you're not paying attention to being blessed by God, you can't be a blessing to other people. So we're being blessed so we can be a blessing. And, you know, that just goes back to what we talked about at the beginning. Recognize the blessing and then make yourself available to be a blessing to other people. And so those are really the two main things that He's shared with me. And I can reflect back on my life and see that, you know, number one, it started with my family, but I could see how, I mean, I won't name names because there's so many people that I would probably forget if I name names, but boy, I could sit down and list hundreds, if not thousands of people who've actually impacted my life and been a blessing in my life. And so that's what I want to do. I mean, I want to be a blessing because people have blessed me, but it all comes from God.